Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Hello.
Finally found the document, the agenda.
Excellent.
I did hear back from I think it was Justin that he's not able to attend, unfortunately, today.
Yeah, it looks
I was
like he's
able to
not
catch
going,
up.
he won't be able to attend in general because he has a standing commitment at this time.
Right. I caught up with him offline, shared a few details of the group. He's certainly interested.
Hey, Randall.
Hello. Should we post a link in the chat to the document? I guess. Let me do that.
Yeah.
There we go. Hey, Jacques.
G'day, how are you?
Very good, thank you. And we'll similarly break cover. Well, almost, I guess, with this lighting, but at some point I will fix the lighting in this room.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen some pretty dramatic backlighting situations that people have had, where they're just sort of like a ghostly outline, basically.
Yeah, that was the look I was going for.
Mysterious Jonathan Meadows.
Indeed, indeed. So I've posted the link to the agenda document in the chat if people want to go and take a look. If you could also add your name to the list of attendees, that would be great.
Drop the link in here again. There you go. I thought you might do that. Jacques, I like your kitty.
Yeah, isn't she the best?
Well, I mean, my kitties are the best, but she looks pretty good.
Yeah, she's right up there.
Absolutely. All right, thank you. So let me give it one more minute and then we'll go through. Is anyone interested in being the scribe this week?
I can do it.
Oh, great. Thanks, Nora.
Awesome. Thanks, Noah.
This is such a helpful group.
I know. Fantastic. Thank you. So we've got Shopify, Spotify, Gentoo, Wipro, and City. Very good. All right, let's kick off. So doesn't currently look like we have any new friends on the group today. One of the things that I think we should be doing as we're getting a bit closer to being made a fully fledged group is getting sort of additional members. I know I'm in touch with a lot of other people, and I'll be inviting people to the group too. Oh, new recruit coming in, very timely. Hello, Fuzzy.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Hi.
I was waiting.
No worries. If you take a look at the chat room, we've posted a document, a link to the agenda.
Thank you very much. I'll just look at that.
Yeah. You want to take a quick look at that? We're literally just started, and we're at the point of introducing new friends to the group. Do you?
Look at that right time, then.
Yeah, right time. Do you want to maybe introduce yourself?
This is fantastic. My name is Peter Singh. Everyone knows me as Fuzzy on the internet. Randall's brought me along to the recent meetings, and I'm personally enjoying the fact that I'm here. And I'm really enjoying the likes of these projects that you guys have got going, and I would like to get involved, basically. I also don't drink, so yeah.
Fantastic. All right. Thanks very much. So thanks for updating that. Good. Okay. So let's start with the first agenda item, if that's okay. So Vicky, do you want to give us a bit of an insight into the SSC framework?
Yes, as soon as I have some tea, I was just taking a bite of toast. Huh?
Sorry about
Okay,
that.
so this came up in, I believe it was the best practices working group earlier this week. Microsoft has released a whole new project. Officially, it's a specification for a framework for open source software supply chain usage for how to find and use open source in a secure way. The project made a little presentation. They had regular, let's go with that, community meetings. They will be having, they will be trying to get into OpenSSF under some working group or other. At the moment of the existing working groups, the best fit for that is the best practices working group. But I believe that's just because we're not official yet, because really what this is about consuming open source. And so it may make more sense for that to be under our group. However, it is brand new. They only held their very first community meeting this week. And they're still getting their feet under them. Despite the fact it being brand new, it is very large and comprehensive as specifications go. So I have added a link to it, or at least to their community meeting document. That document includes links to the specification itself and their GitHub repo, which is where it lives. So I just wanted to mention it to you all in case you wanted to have a look. They will be presenting officially to OpenSSF people. Let me drop a link to that. If someone hasn't, there we go. They will be presenting officially to OpenSSF working groups, one or more. I believe Crow is helping to coordinate that so they can figure out where they want to live under the OpenSSF. So I made sure that they knew that we were a going concern. We're soon to become an official working group, and Crow knows to make sure that this working group is a part of that scheduling. So we can try to have only one demo from them for multiple working groups, rather than having them do the same demo 3+ times. So we can see whether it would be a good fit for OpenSSF in general, and then where it should fit as a project under which working group. And Randall, you've had your hand up for quite a while.
Yeah.
Did you want to go, Randall? Sorry.
Actually looking for, because there's actually another part of this, Vicky, that I was actually going to let you in on from Michael. So I don't know if you want to, I'll send it. But I don't know if you want to get Michael in touch with Chris, because there is another part of this that was presented yesterday by Michael in the security integrity meeting. So he wanted to present to a few different places. So I told him that maybe it'd be best to talk to you, because I didn't know that Chris was taking lead on that. So yeah, I'll send the slides as well.
That'd be great.
Yeah, if you could just send them to the Slack channel so everyone could see them, that would be great. And Michael was on that call, on the community call this week. So it just probably didn't have the time to bring that up as well. But it's good to know there's another piece. I'm sure Crow will be hearing about that soon as well. And I'll make sure that he gets to see the slides once you share them. So thanks for that.
I just sent them, but just for the record, I know that Michael wanted to keep this kind of in like a small group of people. So I think this is small enough, but I'm just letting everyone know that he did kind of say like, it's not final. He doesn't want to have this like super passed around outside OpenSSF, but this is the concept because there's like another tool that goes into that framework that kind of puts it into effect to a certain degree. So yeah, I'm in touch with both Adrian and everyone at Microsoft on this. So yeah.
Okay,
Interesting.
cool. Thanks,
And Andrew,
Randall.
you had your thanks. Andrew, you got your hand up as well.
Yeah, Randall, if you have some details on the tool, that'd be interesting because I went through this and be interesting if they are pitching as a specification. It's more of a process. Today, at least, I know it's been in effect at Microsoft for, I believe, almost 3 years now. So there's obviously a lot of real world implementation that has gone into this. But definitely would like to understand a little more about this tool or solution that you're referencing. I don't know that it meets the specification, but it certainly seems to be a very sophisticated process.
This is actually, so from my understanding, this is part of their implementation at Microsoft that they're trying to move out.
Yeah.
This is why it's so Azure focused, but I know that that's not like a huge thing. That's just an idea. And I know that's based on the fact that OpenSSF has Azure credits. But from my understanding, this is one of the ways that they take that framework and implement it at Microsoft. I know that it's conceptual. I know that like parts of it are implemented, and I know it's not the same tool they use at Microsoft, but I know that it's, from what he explained, it's kind of based on what they do. So yeah, there's supposed to be a hackathon on September 18th that I'm supposed to be a part of that will establish a lot of this. So
interesting. Sounds like they put a lot of effort into this in terms of that implementation as well as the document, right?
Yeah, it's very, very detailed.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
It is. And just again, going through a brief run through on the document, there's a lot here that may be useful for end users.
And that's the thing real quick. Let me point out. So the big thing with this, because they have a part there where they compare frameworks. The big difference with this framework is that it covers end users. Like most of our other frameworks are more on the producer side of things. So this is one that actually covers both sides of the argument.
Yep.
Has anyone seen the list of the list of personas and the different use cases that I sort of sent around a couple of times? I think it was on the chat. I was just interested if that satisfies those sort of use cases, or is it additional use cases?
I have not seen them, Jonathan. So if you can send them again, I would definitely take a look today.
I'll send them out.
It doesn't have some of the risk and compliance use cases that would be, make it completely relevant, say, for a highly regulated industry, given the fact that it came from Microsoft. Right. But there are a lot of steps in this process here that would be useful. It'd be definitely have to understand the implementation from a tooling perspective better.
Interesting. Definitely want to dig in, spend more time.
I would also say what's interesting about this is their .NET, like their emphasis for using .NET when most of the Linux world, besides Red Hat and Canonical, have a really hard time like dealing with .NET. I know at Gen 2, we have very strong opinions, and I'll leave it at that.
All right, very good. That's really interesting. I think it'd be useful to get some more detail about that. So a couple of actions coming out of it. Excellent. Vicky, anything further on that one?
No, this is great. And I'm really grateful to Randall for bringing just the other side of that project. So we know that's something that we can have a look at. And once I have a chance to look at the slides, I will either reach out to Michael or Krob or both, frankly, to see what's going on with that.
So since I'm taking notes, I put a note that Randall will send Microsoft to the end user Slack channel to kind of keep us all updated. Should I change that to Vicky, you reaching out, or do we want to kind of continue in the end user Slack channel from here?
We'll just go in the Slack channel from here.
Perfect, thanks.
I do think, Vicky, they need a little bit, the whole Microsoft team, including Adrian, needs a little bit of orientation about how OpenSSF works. Because I don't think that they're necessarily clear on like where, what goes where. Because I know that yesterday we kind of hijacked the meeting with this presentation. I'm not trying to be like that about it, but it is true.
Yeah, no, I understand, which is, I know that both Michael and Ava were in the call on Tuesday. So it's not like they're lacking for OpenSSF experience in their group. It just could be that there wasn't enough communication in advance and that sort of stuff. And, you know, we're people, communication is hard. That's fine.
Fair, fair. I was just bringing it to your attention so that way you know what's going on.
Yeah, no, cool. Thank you so much for that.
Very cool. All right, so if we can move on the agenda, then I think that's that has that one covered. Next one we have is meeting frequency. So we've had a few suggestions about timing, and we've settled on 7 PDT. But in terms of meeting frequency, any suggestions on how often to meet? I'd suggest like bi-weekly, but any thoughts otherwise?
I like bi-weekly to start, and then we kind of adjust it down the line if we'd like to do more or less.
Yep.
Agreed. We have a lot of initial work to keep, you know, to build the momentum and to grow this community. So I think the more frequent, the better right now. Excellent.
Sounds good to me. So noted. Thank you very much. So next agenda item. So great news, becoming a real working group, right? So this formed some time ago, a loose band of people, right? But I think we're now getting to the point where I believe this is the 5th meeting. We've got in there the list of steps to go to become an official working group. I think if we open that up, I think we need to start talking to a TAC sponsor, but I think we've hit the other goals. So if you look at it, it's become incubating. We need to have met at least 5 times, at least 5 interested individuals from at least 3 different organizations attending regularly. I believe we've also met that agenda or that item. So the next step is to look for a TAC sponsor. And I think that's really where we'd be heading next. Right? I know that I think there was a TAC member that attended last session, if that was correct. Unfortunately, I was on vacation. Yep.
Yeah.
So I think Bob. Yep. So I think next one would be to select a TAC member or reach out to different TAC members to see if they are interested in attending. I think there are a couple that are already aware of the end user group, and we do have a lot of support, I believe, from that group. So, yes, Andrew?
Yeah, sorry. I don't have the list right now. I know there's what, 7 or 9 of them. I don't think there's an end user on the TAC, which is interesting in and of itself.
No. Yeah, that's one of the motivations for this group forming.
Absolutely right. Great
Part
point.
of the origin story.
Yeah, and I think it would really be useful to provide that voice directly into the TAC. That I think it would be one of those main steps, right, Jack? Yep.
Yeah, I see one of the purposes of the group is continuing to lobby for the view that the needs and interests and perspectives of end users are distinct.
Yep.
That we just have different DNA when it comes to thinking about these problems from vendors who necessarily have a different view. So it's important to have both sides of the coin represented.
Yep, fully agree. Fully agree. So next step is to approach members of the TAC. I can take that as an action, unless anyone else is supremely want to take that one.
That's good.
Right.
I added it as an action item.
Great. So I'm going to reach out to Brian and sort of identify a member of the TAC who's interested in working with us as we go through the incubating process and become a regular attendee. So that'll be an action that I can take on.
Is it possible that we raise it at the next TAC meeting next week? I believe it is. I don't see
Yeah.
an agenda for that meeting yet, so we could probably sneak in at the top.
Fantastic. Great call.
I would also propose that we do that and get it in front of all of the TAC members at once.
I think it should be seated, maybe with a conversation or two with a couple of the TAC members beforehand. So even if it's a formal agenda item, it would be nice to make sure that it's not a completely new topic for these folks.
Yep.
Or
So
for
I
all
can
of
do
them.
that. So I can do that part, seed it with a couple of them, talk to Brian. Great idea to get
Mhm.
on the agenda for next week though as well. So do both. Sounds like a decent idea.
Yeah, and there's this thread where like when we at Spotify started to get involved that you are on as well, Jonathan. I think it might make sense to kind of, because I believe Bob is on it already, so we can make sure to kind of close the loop on that one.
Yep, great idea. Do you want to reply back to that thread?
Yeah.
Nor
So I reply back to that thread, kind of just so that's the informal way of reaching out. And who will, maybe we have someone volunteer to be on the next TAC meeting.
I mean,
I'm
I
assuming
usually
we
attend
can.
them.
Yeah, I usually attend them as well.
So I'll just add both of you, Chuck. and-
I'll join as well. That's a
Okay.
+1 from me too.
Oh, yeah. Anyone who's interested, but you are accountable.
Absolutely. Sounds good. So next step, I think selecting a chair and likely a vice chair. I think as a working group, it makes sense to do that. So I'd like to put my name up for chair. Is
I'll second
anyone
that.
else? Thank you. Thank you.
I'll third that.
I'll support it, definitely.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. It is something that's really important to me to make sure that this works. So I appreciate that support. I do think that we need a vice chair though as well. Any office?
I would nominate
Yeah.
Vicky if she's open to it.
I would, hand that hot potato over to Andrew because I'm already in so many other.
Yeah, I
working
figured that
groups.
might be the case. Yeah.
But I do appreciate
Vicky
that.
and
Thanks,
I-
Chuck.
Second that.
Vicky and I talked about that. There's been a recent reorganization actually in our CTO office, which is frankly freed up some of my time. So I would like to put my name forth for the vice chair position. And I promise to try and work as hard and as smart as Vicky.
Me too. I'll second that. Cool. Should carry it.
So one thing I wanna add, so we have Robert, because we missed kind of introducing him at the beginning of the call because he joined a bit late. He's recovering from being sick, so I'm not gonna put you on the spot. But kind of wanted to highlight that he'll be joining a lot of the upcoming conversations on my behalf. So I'm not adding kind of my name just yet. And I know that he's looking to possibly join this one, but we are definitely interested in helping out in any way that we can. So if we're saying like for now we have Jonathan as chair, was it Andrew as
Andrew's
Yes.
vice chair. Yep.
vice chair? So is this kind of like, are we making it official right now? Is this how, okay. And kind of want to highlight that Robert will also be joining from Spotify from here on, and someone else as well will be joining called Daniel.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
Really look forward to your support. And as we were saying, right, I think now is the time we can start to bring in additional members to the team in the working group, sort of advertise a bit as we start to make a formal working group from it. So very good. And hope you feel better, Robert. We'll see you next time around. Excellent. Okay. Through the agenda, next item, drafting an announcement blog post. Good
So
idea.
I threw this on the agenda yesterday. I just wanted us to be ready for that. And I know that writing can take time, especially with all the other things we have on our agendas. So if we have just a quick and not dirty, a quick and clean blog post that we can have ready to hand to Jennifer and say, look, we are official now, please let's make a big stink about this. I think that would be very helpful for OpenSSF and for us. And thankfully, we've done a lot of the groundwork for that with the document we have for the definition and the missions and the goals. And so we can certainly use that as a basis to help to tempt everyone to come and join us.
Yep, great show. Does anyone want to take a first stab at collating some of that material?
Yeah, I can do that. I've been writing a lot of the blog posts for some of the working groups, so I've been kind of getting a feel of how to get that done.
Fantastic. Thanks, Randall.
Sure.
That's
Sure.
awesome.
I'll
Share,
tag on with
Randall.
Randall just to learn and get a feel of it.
Awesome.
Yeah, we work together, so we could figure it out.
Very cool. Thanks, guys. And the next one up is the name contest. I think we have a winner, right? So if we scroll back up on the chat, we had a couple of different options. We had end user working group, downstream working group, big picture, deployment and operations, and consumer. And by a landslide victory, I think we have end users working group.
Yay. Do we
There
clap
we go.
now? or-
I think so. Logos, t-shirts.
Maybe any strong feelings against that would be something interesting to hear.
I'm in favor. I think the main objection that folks had was that it may cause confusion about whether we mean end users, the human beings, or end users, the organizations. And so when we wrote the mission and the vision, we made sure to mention organizations to tamp down on the confusion. So
yep.
I think it's acceptable cost for the otherwise, simplicity and obviousness.
Randall, did you want to comment there?
No comment.
Nope. Oh, background noise. Okay, cool. So by popular demand, I think we're sort of officially the end user working group. Very good.
I think we are just making all the progress today. This is the best meeting ever.
Well, it's all a massive layup to start with, to be fair. But
Yeah.
so next agenda item, where to start. So I think it's useful to sort of put together maybe a roadmap. We already have effectively our outline, our mission statement. But I think it would be useful to start to pull some of those threads and try and figure out, what are the steps and milestones or roadmap to start to make that happen. Any other sort of suggestions?
Sorry, I should put my hand up like a good little citizen. But I was typing thanks to Fuzzy, so I didn't have a chance to do that. So I'll just say thanks, Fuzzy, and then mention that the document we have already includes at the bottom a list of potential deliverables. I just happened to notice that yesterday. It had completely slipped my mind, so I'm glad I was skimming that document. But that might be a good place for us to start, since it seems we've already done some of the work. And I will cede to Andrew.
Yeah, I updated that this morning, just added a couple of items to it. I think there are two that are important. We want to, or it behooves us to get a couple more traditional end user consumers on the working group. So I think putting together a list of folks would be helpful. And then the other is creating collateral that's relevant for end users, because so much of the OpenSSF collateral is focused on producers. So to that end, I actually reached out to Brian and Jennifer and asked them for the town hall presentation, which they give, which is a good intro overview of OpenSSF. They sent me a PDF. I asked for some slides, and I'm happy to take a stab at, and we're just talking about fine tuning it a little bit, essentially changing some of the verbiage and putting it more in end user language. But I think that might be helpful as we go out there at some point in time when we feel we're ready to recruit other end users.
Great, cool.
Related to that, we could ask whether they have any sort of sales material, because one of the functions of the OpenSSF is selling memberships to itself, as it were. So I wonder what material is being used to make those cases at prospective organizations, prospective members.
They do have some base material and then they customize it depending upon the organization, but they certainly have some documents, but it's really more of a one-to-one approach, or at least that's what they try.
Okay.
And in my experience, it's been more like there's nothing like on the technical side of what you would get out of it, outside of course, all of the products that OpenSSF is doing, but there's nothing like a group or forum or something that you can be a part of, and which is a lot of what we are trying to get out of this group. So I think it would be really great if we start adding that to the marketing material, as it would get people interested, because it was a struggle for me to see, okay, so what do I get out of this? Like, is there some forum? A lot of those people that they're marketing to are organizations. They're in other organizations as well that do have end user forums. So maybe an action item or a potential deliverable, action item would be to reach out to whoever puts this marketing material together.
Yep. I think I can also have a couple of documents I could pull into this as well, sort of primer material, sort of threat models, the persona document. If we have some sort of location where we can store that, and if of interest, I could bring that in there as well.
What do you want to bring it to where exactly? Like not the marketing material, right?
Not the market. I'm not talking about marketing material. More material for end users to give them an insight into supply chain and suggestions on where to focus. Certainly material I could bring to the table for that.
I'm assuming that at some point we'll have a GitHub repo, right?
I believe so, right?
Yeah, that's normal for working groups, is you're going to GitHub repo.
So I'm assuming that most of that material would go in the GitHub repo.
Yes, it would.
Yep.
And if you need any help, Jonathan, with editing or proofreading any of that, just let me know.
Will do. Absolutely will do. Yep. Excellent. So some good insights there to start with draft deliverables and bring more people in. Excellent. Okay. And we're just a little bit over time. Any other business that people want to raise?
Do we feel good about the mission and goals? We have a bunch of comments in there that maybe we want to clean up before the TAC meeting. Or is it okay as is?
Pull that up again.
No, it definitely needs some cleanup, I think, before. Yeah, I think we all know the shape it wants to be in. We just haven't finished it off yet. So I can clean that up if you would like.
Yeah, I'll also help out, Vicky. I'll do a round today of looking at it. So I'll add both of our names as an action item.
Thanks both.
Well, I'll let you take a first pass and then I will have a look on Monday. So I'm not,
All right.
Getting in your way.
Excellent. I think we've done quite a lot of actions and made a lot of progress today. Anything else? Any other items?
I guess you could put me down for looking over this because I have to read it for the blog post. So I'll also add some comments for the missions and goals.
Excellent.
And to be clear, we're looking for fewer comments and more of a finished document. However, comments are always welcome. I just don't want this to be, the never-ending edit.
+1.
Very good. Very subtly and delicately put. All right, thank you very much. Well, if there's no other business, I think we'll close there. But thank you very much. I think it's been really useful. I'm really excited about getting this off the ground and look forward to a successful TAC meeting next week. Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Amazing.
Great
Thanks,
weekend.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.